Hey guys, so today I wanted to make a video to show you how to change the front camera in the iPhone 7. So first you want to make sure your device is powered off. Next I'm going to use a screwdriver size 0.8. It's a pentalobe size 0.8, and we're going to need to remove these two screws in the bottom of the phone right here. So go ahead and remove those screws. Alright guys, so the next thing I wanted to show you in this kit is a suction cup. You want to press down. Make sure that it's sealed good. You want to stay close to the home button but not over the home button because it will break the suction. So what we're going to do also is this really thin pry tool comes in the toolkit, and what we're going to do is try to get right above this speaker right here. We're going to try to slip in right here very carefully in between the frame and the screen right here. As you can see, it's starting to separate a little bit. Then we're going to use like this guitar pick or something thin that you have that you can pry around all the way around. I wanted to talk about there's a waterproof adhesive that goes all along the edge right here. And by doing this repair, it could affect how waterproof your iPhone 7 is, just to give you a heads up. They're not readily available yet, but there is some waterproof adhesive. I don't have any right now to show you, but I'll link to it in the video description that you can put back on here when you put your iPhone back together, and it should retain that waterproof seal. Like I said, they're not readily available yet. They're hard to come by, but they'll become more readily available as time goes on, I'm sure. So I just wanted to give that heads up that it could affect the waterproof of your iPhone 7. So next what we're going to do, I'm going to put a little upward tension on this right here. And I'm going to slip in right beside this thing here. I'll try to turn it this way to show you. And we're just going to carefully slide along here. We can remove this thing once we got it started. And we're going to cut through the adhesive here. Just come to this top corner here. Then we're going to go and we're going to slide along this side here. And now you don't want to stick in too far right here because there's some cables right here where the iPhone 7 screen is attached. So you want to just slide up through there. It's starting to separate here, as you can see. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove this suction cup now, and what you want to do, you can see it's starting to separate like this. Now the top has some tabs that stick under here, so we don't want to just pry straight up. Also, unlike other generations of the iPhone 7, the screen comes off and it tips like this, like a book. It doesn't tip up like it used to in previous generations. It tips this way, so just to give you a heads up about that. But what we're going to try to do is we want to bring this up a little bit, and if possible we want to cut this adhesive in here like this with this guitar pick or whatever you use. As you can see, it's starting to separate there, and there's that tab I was talking about. So you get it down far enough where you can tip it up like this. Then I'll set it like this so you can see. Then we should be able to just carefully tip it up like that. Now next, while you're holding the screen up like this, just past the 90 degrees, you don't want to put too much tension on these cables to tear these cables here. And we're going to use this screwdriver with a bit. It's called tri-point size 0.8. Now sometimes the manufacturers vary on the sizes, but in this kit mine's called 0.8. So Apple just kind of had to throw us for a loop and use a different kind of screw in this. So basically we're going to remove these four in this shield right here. So go ahead and remove those fours. Now make sure to keep them in the right order because they're different size. You don't want to mix them up. So next, after you remove those screws, I'm going to use the tweezers. You can use your fingers for this. And just grab this shield and set it off to the side with your screws. Next I'm going to use a plastic pry tool. You don't want to use anything metal for this. You can use a plastic pry tool. So let's go ahead and remove that connector. Remove that connector. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and disconnect the battery. Get that up out of there. So next, under this shield right here, there's two screws we're going to need to remove as well. It's holding this cable in here down. And this is a Phillips size 000. So you want to go ahead and remove those two Phillips screws. Next, we're going to use the tweezers and remove this shield right here. Set it off with your screws. Next, you want to grab your plastic pry tool and you can go right under this corner right here. Just carefully pry up that connector, and the whole screen comes out just like that. Now since we pulled the screen off here, if you look on the edge here, there's some adhesive residue here. We'll want to go ahead and use the tweezers or something and get that all off of there. Once you get it started, it should peel right off. If this video was helpful to you, I would appreciate if you would give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. That would help me out a lot. So next what we're going to want to do is use the Phillips screwdriver and remove these 6 screws all in here. Make sure to keep them all in the right order because they're different sizes. Now that you've removed all those screws, go ahead and lift up this shield. Careful because the front camera is hidden underneath it. Set that off to the side with your screws. Next we'll just grab this speaker, pull it right out of here, set it off to the side. Next we'll need to use something carefully to remove this front camera assembly here. What I'm going to do is just sneak under this right here. This has a proximity sensor here. We can slide right under here. It has adhesive holding it down. Just going to wiggle under there. Get that to pop up. If I move the front camera here, next we're going to need to get under these gold contacts right here. And you just start by this peg and you slide under to this peg and it just lifts off there. There's also adhesive under this part over here. So I'm going to try to show this the best I can. You just lift up there, slide under there. Sometimes this is stuck down pretty good, sometimes not too bad. then the whole assembly lifts up just like that. Now this has the front camera, the proximity sensor, and the microphone for FaceTiming, etc. there. Next we're going to grab our whole front camera assembly, set it down in here. Make sure to line these two pegs up right here. And it's kind of hard to show it in the video, but you want to line up where the proximity sensor sits down in right here. You can feel once it sets down in there. Then yeah, we want to line these two pegs up, make sure they're lined up still. Press them down, and you want to press down this part over here. Now make sure that that's pressed down in where it goes to. We're going to grab our speaker. Watch the front camera here. Set our speaker right where it goes. Set the front camera down where it goes. We're going to grab our shield. Make sure that everything sets down good, and go ahead and put all your 6 screws back in. Now next, before you install the LCD screen, this is a time where if you do want to reapply the waterproof adhesive, then you go ahead and put it around all the way around on the edge here. So go ahead and do that next. If you're going on without that, then you can skip this step. Next, to reconnect the LCD screen, first we're going to connect this connector right in here, and this can be kind of a pain. Sometimes it's easier to like turn the screen a little bit, try to line this connector up the best you can. I would be careful what you stick in here as far as anything metal, but sometimes if you get it close, you can press down with something like this or something to get it started, and then you can finish it with your finger. It's a little tricky with this camera right here, so you got to watch that. So now that you got that connected, now we want to reconnect these two connectors here. So do the shortest one first and go ahead and connect this connector. Now we can go ahead and reconnect the battery. So then you can grab this shield and set it down on top of here. Now this little foam piece that's right here where the camera will make this sit up for a little bit, but it'll compress once you put your screws in. So go ahead and put those 2 screws in. Now that you've got your 2 screws in up here, grab your shield here, set it down on top of this right here, and go ahead and put those 4 screws back in. So now that you got both shields all done and all the screws back in, let's go ahead and gently lay this down. Now as you got it here, clips right here, we want to get those started in there first. Then you can go ahead and just gently press that down all the way around. Then go ahead and put your 2 screws back in the bottom right there. And hopefully this video helped you. Thanks for watching.